Welcome. We're continuing with Genesis. We are on chapter 8, and therefore let's begin. And God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountain also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters stand from off the earth continually, and after the end of 150 days the waters abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month of the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. And now we see after God's judgment upon the sons of men, it comes about that the ark rested on the 7th on the 7th month of the 17th day upon the mountains of Ararat. First of all, we have to know that the ultimate tool of which God usually likes to use woodwork for his purpose of salvation. He used the ark of Noah to bring about salvation unto the house of Noah, and therefore the same he used the works of wood to bring salvation for mankind upon the cross. So truly he is a good carpenter, and him being a carpenter, he can fix anything and everything. Okay, and the waters decreased continually on the 10th month, and the 10th month on the first day of the month on the tops of the mountain scene. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he made, and he sent forth a raven which went to and fro until the waters were dried up from the earth. Also he went forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the surface of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her, and put her unto him in the ark. Still, we see now he sends the raven, he sends the dove, but by this time, still water is raging upon the face of the earth. There is nowhere that is dried. And he stayed yet other 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from the face of the earth. So after waiting for another 7 days, we see the dove coming with good news, an olive leaf, meaning that the waters were starting to reduce. And he stayed yet other 7 days, and he sent for the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year of the first month, on the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 17th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. And God spoke unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wives and thy sons wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee of all flesh, both of the fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful, and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons and his wife sons with him. See, now we have an instruction from the Lord telling Noah that he should go and regenerate the planet, because every other thing was dead, and therefore he obeyed. The multitude of nations we see around, the multitude of animals, though some have gone extinct because of a selfish human desire and needs, but all these, they were saved. And now they are receiving a commandment from God that they should go and fill. And now, and verses 20, and Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. This is the first instance where we come across the altar. And an altar, I can define an altar as a gateway between the heavens, or the spiritual realm, and the physical realm. Therefore, an altar is something that is built, is high, that we offer sacrifice to deities, because we have seen this throughout the history of the world, that humans and deities have always interacted with each other through the altars. And therefore, Noah did that to interact with God, to offer thanksgiving. And we see that, and the Lord smelled a sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing, as I have done. Where the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, and summer and winter, and the day and the night shall not cease. Therefore God came after offering that sacrifice. It brings about the change of heart, and God is saying that either way, I'm not going to punish man anymore. I'm not going to drown this place that as I have done with water, because the ways of man are wicked since from his youth. David says that in my birth I was born in sin, and therefore this becomes something that is going to struggle. I'm going to fight with every person out there, because it is with them. It's like a DNA. But above all, Christ died to bring salvation. And therefore, the most interesting part of this chapter 8, we find that the ark is resting, and above all, people are receiving the ordinance or the message from God, a commandment to go and replenish the planet. And above all, we see that the main thing and the spiritual significance that happened is the first instance we see an altar. And as we continue through the Bible series, we are going to find that there were different altars built upon the lifestyle or in the genealogy of Israel and those surrounding nations. Even we see that in heaven there is an altar. Therefore, an altar is a gateway of which the spiritual and the physical interact. And I pray that you have to service. You have to know that you have to serve that altar. An altar, maybe let me say, your altar now, right now, is that specific room, is that your hidden chamber of which you go down to pray. That is your altar, and servicing it is by prayer, servicing it by seeking unto God, servicing it by speaking in tongues, servicing it by calling upon the name of the Lord, by reading the word of God day in and day out. Therefore, we will continue, and above all, we see the birth that God gave was not just now. I know right now we have the LGBTQ community checking that the rainbow, the significance of what they do, but that's not. The rainbow is a sign and a symbol of God's mercy upon us, that He will never smite again. But above all, we know that at the end of the day, earth is reserved for fire. So God is done with water. He won't punish the whole earth with water, but you see, the planet reserved for fire. This you are going to see along the way as we will venture into more and more to the word of God. Thank you, and God bless you. Let's meet the next chapter, chapter 9. God bless.